Hello and welcome to the next episode of this absolute disaster series. Now, big bar of chocolate and we are going to get going with our superhero section. All the tables are finally in place. They're in situ where they need to be. Nothing is in the correct place though. So what I'm going to do before the last video goes live, so this might change again, is I'm going to create a superhero section under the blue and straight down between the green and orange and in that middle section to start with, and we're going to see how much space that takes up and if we can design something quite nice and smart. And it means is all of the modulars have to move within today's episode, and all of the bits and pieces that are over there and the tower and all sorts of other little bits and bobs. So like all the other bits and pieces that we've been doing, things are going to get smashed. If you didn't see any of the others, what I'll do is I will link episode number 1 to this so you can catch it from the beginning and the reason why it looks as bad as what it does. But I am currently stood where there was a massive hole, so that's always a positive. So what we'll do, I'll have a quick think of exactly what's going to go where, but I think I've got a plan of attack, and then we'll just crack on and get going. Right, so we're in the central island. That's what's been created here. So we have all of this to wrap around and do over a period of time. Yes, it is an absolute mess. But what we are going to start on is this up here. So this shelf is the first thing that needs to be done. I am thinking the modulars, and I'm thinking, annoyingly, it's going to be the first one needs to be the assembly square. And we can just have a nice run of them across the top. I think that'll look quite smart. And then the ones that we can use within the display a little bit better. So for example, like the police station and the cinema for like the Batman area, because also we've got the bat symbol up on top. We can have that in an easy reach bit, and we can start to create streets and that kind of thing. So I don't know how far we're going to get within this upload because there is a lot to move. So I've got to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things over. I smashed the Quinjet already. That was on top of the Daily Bugle, so that is in a bag in as many pieces as you can possibly imagine. The Jurassic Park needs to come off that shelf, and the Ninjago needs to come off. But I am thinking potentially that the red roller coaster might look quite smart just here with the superhero section behind it. A bit like what they've got at Universal with the Hulk. But we'll see what that looks like and see if this takes up too much space. This obviously then all needs to move, and it's just a case of putting things in places. But luckily there is a bit of free space behind. So what I need to do first is I need to clear that top shelf. And then as you can imagine, that's going to be easier said than done because this table did not exist here when that stuff went up top. So I'm going to have to end up climbing up. Hopefully I don't drop the gates, but I think I've got enough space I can put them directly behind me. I'm going to go for, it's going to be a big reach, the T-Rex first. Now that is full stretch, so that is not a good sign because the Ninjago stuff is in the way, and I think last time I did this I ripped his head off. So oh no. Alright, there we go. So head has gone. Luckily it's on a big ball joint, so I can just pop that back in. Does mean I'm going to have to go climbing though, and hopefully, that's a bit wobbly. I don't think I've done the legs up very well on that. I think I needed to redo everything before I actually started this video, but if I fall through, never mind. Right, that is number 1. That is, oh, it's not because it's not flush on the floor, that'll be why. Right, let's plonk his head on because I don't want to damage anything else really if I can help it, because I've already got too many things to build and repair. So that goes in like that. Right, 1 down. So that's the big dinosaur. That is done. So if I can get the gates on the table as well. He's actually now sat on the chocolate bar, so that's not too bad. Right, now next one. This is how it's been on all of the other uploads, and this is what I've got to do for the modulars. I just hope I don't smash everything. Now these gates, this I have no idea where it's going. I don't know where to put the Jurassic Park section. I don't know where to feed it off from. It did look quite smart up there, but I think this superhero bit up there might look a little bit better. It might give us some more options with regards to like further expansion, so we can see what's going to be going on with that. Can I reach the treehouse? Yep. All right, we are away. So this will go with the Rivendell set, which ideally wants to go just there, but I can't put it there because there's just stuff everywhere. So what I am going to end up having to do in a second is play tag from one table to another. So the stuff that I've just put on that one table actually needs to go on another table the other side of the room so it won't get smashed. Then I can bring in all of the other little bits and pieces. But up here I had like the little dino bits and pieces for the Jurassic Park. There's like a little egg somewhere. There it is. So there's an egg for that. And then we had, I think, some unbuilt stuff here. So I'm not too sure. Built, yes, they are. They are. Some of them are unbuilt, some of them are good to go, I think. So that can be figured out eventually. Right, so obviously the other reason why I want to put those up there is because of the horrendousness of those bricks. I can't do anything about it, so I need something to hide it. So we're going to start in that corner. Now if I can actually use these, if I can clear the space up from that table, I can then bring those from that table to that table and bring them over. And then all of this stuff on this table can go into the back table. You can see how this is going to go, can't you? Right, so let's see what we can do. Right, I have no idea what you can see from that because this camera doesn't have a front screen, but I put you're propped up against a police station because I needed to move it. And I thought, I am falling off this. Something is going to go wrong. Now, I'm assuming that we would like to have the palace, the cinema and the bank basically side by side as a mini street. So we could do some bits and pieces like that on the bit below. This shelf is perfect depth for the modulars, and then we can just have minifigures going across the front of it, but we won't be able to add in anything else. So we can basically create a street going over the top. And I'm looking at this now going, I wonder if the shadow box would go underneath this shelf and have a bit of a sort of Easter egg hiding underneath that for a bit of a Gotham-y type thing. But the bits and pieces up top that I don't think we've ever used or needed to use as such in the display, so they were just there basically for buildings and fascias, is the pet shop, the townhouses, the bookshop, the 60s diner and the assembly square. So I think if we can get all of those up here across the top, that'll free up quite a bit of space, and that leaves us the pool table. Not too sure if we should put the jazz club up here. The corner units won't work up here, they have to be the forward facing bits and pieces, so I'm not 100% sure if that will work or not, but they will fit absolutely fine. You can put the minifigures in front of it and they will look good. So that's what they look like. And then again, I can just keep going all the way over. You can fit quite a lot on this shelf, and they just all clip together as well. So I don't know if we should have the police station up top. There is the spotlight up there, so maybe the police station goes beside the assembly square in the middle, and then we have the pet house, the townhouse on the one side, and then we've got the book on the other side. Yeah, so we'll figure it out. First few are in. I think it looks quite smart actually up at the top, so we can just carry on with that shelf. I'll get a couple more in on that corner. Like I said, then we can just make a street scene, and I think the police station works where it is. It's not lost. We can just have the little bit of the Easter egg up top, because obviously we can make a bit of a diorama up there. We can put the Batman up there. We can keep some of the bits and pieces up there. I think that looks quite smart. And depending on the size that we've got with regards to that shelf to the floor, we could potentially do a full mock the actual width of that shelf underneath and have a display against the backdrop of the blue, because if I remember rightly, it is an odd number of base plates. I think, like, for example, where we've got the Ninjago stuff, that's fine, and then it's a gap. So it's almost like you've got 3 32 by 32s fully, and then you've got an odd size. So if it's an odd size, it's basically a full brick we've got to play with if you wanted to. And then I think that's the odd bit. So that is the gap that we've got on the inside of that yellow, and that is what that will look like. So I just need to grab, I reckon, I've got the choice of the diner, the restaurant, or the jazz club. And I don't know what's going to stand out better up against that blue. I think we could potentially put the jazz club up there, but I think the jazz club looks nice next to the pool house, which I think we can make a really nice display of these two sort of side by side and use the rooftops for different bits and pieces potentially. Like I said, that's why we're going to keep those two close together. Now don't forget, the Daily Bugle will be facing forward, so you'll have the Daily Bugle sign, and that's going to come to about the height of that yellow. So you'll have the Daily Bugle sign with all of that behind it. So hopefully that should look, he says, quite smart. When the roller coaster comes onto this table, then I'm not going to be able to change anything. So I think what I will end up doing is just keeping that there until this video goes live, because if you guys and girls think I should move some of those bits and pieces over, I will do. But I think we're still going to have plenty of room to design the bits and pieces in the middle, and then we can put some other bits and bobs in. And we've got all the row plates and everything that we can still use. We've got the 16 by 16 row plates on the floor, so we can start putting those down, just figure out exactly what's going on with that. But maybe the bank underneath the police station, I'm not too sure, but I need to grab those 2 more from over there. I think, I don't know how many more base plates we've got, so I just need to work out how many more we can get. In fact, I'll do that with you now, because I have a base plate just here. That is a 32 by 32 base plate. So that is 1. Can I get another one in there? Let's have a look. That is going to be at full reach. Come on, fit. Oh, look at that. Perfect. That'd be 2. So that'd be absolutely spot on. So we could have a teeny tiny gap if we wanted to. So I can have a gap. I don't know. Hopefully it will fit in because of that roof height. That's going to be the only thing. It might depend on what's actually got the shortest roof. Because if I can fit it all the way across that back wall like so, I think we're absolutely laughing. I'm really lucky with that one. As you can see, it's slightly shorter than the rest. That is where the ceiling height is going to be an issue. So I need to find 2 more to go in there. It's either going to be food and food. I'm trying to think. Marvel, DC wise. Would they go back to a throwback 60s diner? The diner would be... The diner is used in all the Universal theme parks, so maybe we could use the diner in our display down there, so the restaurant goes up to the top, and then that leaves the pool house, which was going to be our Punisher display, or the new jazz club. What do I think? Right, I have no idea how much you can see, but you are propped up, you're on I think, against the assembly square. This is what I'm having to do currently, because I've got so much stuff everywhere. So what we are having to do is we're going to have to go under without falling down the loft ladders, but I do like the fact that I've got more space here now, which is fantastic, so I don't have to worry about tripping over something that you can't see on camera. The Ghostbuster Firehouse will have to come over, that'll go on the ground level, obviously that's not going up top. So we want the restaurant, so I need to slide this out of the way without knocking off a set that is going to be retiring soon, which I'm quite surprised at that it is retiring. And then I've got to try and pull this one out without breaking. I just hope it's not attached. Right, that is step number 1 is complete. So that goes onto that table. That wasn't even attached, that was just loose. Some of these I've done unboxing videos for, and I haven't pushed the stuff back on properly. Now it's on. Right, so that's pushed back there. Nothing else we need. Then, back under we go. I'm only boring you with this one so you can see how much fun it is. God, the brick dust that's on the back of this, disgusting. Right, then, this is the hard bit, because I've got to hold it like a pizza, which I've done with all the others. And then, without dropping it on top of the roller coaster, slide it in and slide it on. That is splendid, and that just looks like it's part of a street. That just looks like it's proper fascias that you would walk by for a theme park, and it's just a street, isn't it? So I think the 2 townhouses work side by side. I prefer the 2 townhouses than it being the pet shop and the townhouse and the bookshop, and then that is that. So hopefully we can get 1 more in there. If not, we will have to do a custom something or other and then figure out what we might be putting underneath it, because obviously this is all superhero stuff, so there is bits and pieces that we can do. But I'll get off this before I actually end up falling off, and then we'll keep going. Right, I've just tried Ace Brickman's and it won't fit. In fact, the 32 by 32 base plate won't fit in there either. It looks deceiving. It'll go in width-wise, but height-wise we're miles off. So we are going to have to come up with something custom for that bit and that brick on there. It's either that or we just put a little car parking in there, or something weird and wonderful. We have made some teleportation stuff before, haven't we, where they can go through, and we'll figure that out. But yeah, we'll crack on. So I need to now clear the space that's in the middle just here. So this and this needs to move. Obviously that's just going to get thrown over to this side to start with. I think if I can place a Daily Bugle first, figure out where that's going to go, I reckon what I'm going to end up doing actually is put all this in rough, and then I'm going to go live with you guys and girls a week or 2 after this. Make sure we've placed it correctly, and then I'm going to have to order all the bricks and pieces. Now there's a video either already up, I've just put one of those together, of all the pieces that will potentially be needed, and there is a 28-day leeway on them, so we're going to be a month behind to actually be able to tile it. So I get this done today and the video went live today, you're looking at exactly a month. So ideally we want this done by mid-November with the tile, so I'm gonna have to order it mid-October at the very, very latest. So that's always gonna be interesting. Now I don't think that that's gonna fit there. I'm looking at the bowie. Don't know if that potentially just on the stand would just be a random thing just to have parked up on the corner of the street, because they did do that in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, so we could get away with that. The nice thing is that because all of these are on 32 by 32 base plates, or 16 by 16, they're interchangeable, or 16 by 32 should I say. So apart from, obviously we've got 1 base plate, 2 base plate, 3 base plate, 4 base plate, 4.5. So if for whatever reason we wanted just to pull one out and put it in a display down at the bottom and put something else back up, that's absolutely fine. The one that I am missing is the John Wick Hotel, which is a boutique hotel. I need to get that now we're doing this. And also Doctor Strange, which is in a massive sale. Doctor Strange potentially could go up there and something else could be pulled off, but maybe that should be down closer to the Daily Bugle. So I'll stop waffling. I'm not going to film me move everything. It's just going to take far too long. And then we'll just see where we're at. Right, I've just tried the Guardian ship and it doesn't fit. I've just realised what I'm about to move. So obviously you guys are going to want to see if this smashes or not. So I'll get the camera turned straight back on again. So we've got the Daily Bugle to move, the Ninjago City and the Ninjago Gardens to move. And then in a completely different upload, it will be recreating our Ninjago area and then figuring out where we're putting what for that. So one in safe and sound, so we're all right with that. I'm going to start boxing all of the sets in, but it doesn't matter. So easiest way for me to do this without smashing it, we've got the Punisher up at the front, which I'm only speaking, I don't actually know what you can see. So if we move the Daily Bugle over, now the other option I've got, if I can repair, I say repair, if I can repair the Quinjet that's smashed off the top of this, that on top of this might cover that gap in the corner and we can just have it at the angle. So obviously my plan is it's going to start looking like that, where you've got the skyscraper and then you've got the city behind it. So you can get some really nice photos of that, I think. And then with the Quinjet on top, maybe I don't have the Quinjet on top because it might just cover too much off and we just have a load of people battling around. And then we can have it either angled as it is, or it could just be forward facing just like that and be pushed, either keep this all the way to the front or it could be pushed all the way to the back. But you can see the issue that I'm going to have is it is literally the depth of those bricks, so we're going to have to do something customized with that. But I think we're going to gain quite a bit of space. But before we can start even consider doing that, what I need to do is I need to get you back down on here, because I've got you on something that isn't really the most ideal thing, and we need to get this moved. We need to get this moved. I really hope that top bit is attached. I can't remember. I really can't remember. Committed now, so I didn't even check it. I'm hoping that when I put it down, you don't hear a massive, oh my days, don't hear a massive smash. Got my finger stuck. That's not good. That's not good. There we go. Right, saved it, it's fine. Right, you didn't see any of that, so not a problem whatsoever, but it's over there. So that's where they are. They can just be dumped there for now. We can figure out exactly where this is now going to go. And then I guess maybe we build the display around it. I don't know if it would look nice from a photo perspective if it was twisted and we had the Daily Bugle side on like that. Obviously that's what you saw with the bike going up, and then you had the Avengers Tower on the other side facing each other, and then you just went into the actual land that way. Or they both need to face forward, or they're both completely staggered in completely different areas. So that is something that I am not sure of. Now the one thing I do know is that that roller coaster is so big, it's going to get in the way for everything else that I need to do. So I think I'm going to have to move that probably onto this table, get it out the way, and then what needs to come back in. So we've got 1 unit, 2 unit, 3 unit, 4, Diners 5, Ghostbusters 6 with that ship on. I can't remember which one is the Bowie, so I've got that the wrong way around. I do apologise. But I think with regards to height placement and that kind of thing, because the only other thing we could do is if I did have this where the coaster is in that corner, basically hiding that brick, we could then almost, in fact it is eyeballing that the same height, extend the rooftop display and have a massive battle up at the top. That's the only thing that we could potentially do, because you could just have it extended, build it up on the wall, and then that's where that lives, and it faces forward or on the angle, just like so. So there is options. Obviously it's a very, very big skyscraper, because at least that way it's not hiding anything, but I don't think it's going to hide anything there anyway. We have got actually the Joker Manor to come over within this section as well, so there is quite a bit that still needs to come over, but I think we can figure out exactly what's going to go on with that. I think what I might do and finish this upload is maybe just clear the space, put them in rough like I said, and then wait for this to go live, and then we can start moving it around together, because this is only going to go in rough, so I don't want to waste too much time doing it. Just want to make sure that we have got the heights of everything, because the modulars will fit underneath that shelf, which is ideal, so they will go underneath, so we can go from there, and then we can leave a little bit of gap at the front, and then we can figure out what's going to go on with this eventually. But like I said, I tried to get that in that gap and it wouldn't go in, and it doesn't fit between those two buildings. I did push that one as far over as I could, because obviously it's got that bit just there, but it still wasn't happy. The back of this is just too wide for the split, and it's too tall, and because you can't flop it down to go in that gap. If I could shut this gap off ever so slightly, it would have been perfect, but I can't. So it's in that position the whole time, and it needs to be on the stand, otherwise it will fall over. Right, I will carry on and I'll catch back up with you in a sec. So obviously we're making this up as we go, but I have just put the Daily Bugle in front, and I think that actually looks quite smart with it forward facing. Now the plan is stuff like this. Obviously I have to redo all the road plates so we can have a curve. Now I just need to put a unit in the corner. Now what we will end up with is that space. Like I said, it'd be that brick. So we can customize something. So either do a little rock face, or we just do something there. Maybe we do a city behind the city. We just do something with smaller sets maybe. So because what I'm going to end up doing is obviously putting a smaller one there, then a bigger one, smaller one, bigger one, and then maybe when as and when the Avengers Tower comes out, that can go maybe there, and then we have a couple more modulars in, and we've just created basically a basic horseshoe shape, and then we can just put some smaller sets in. Now obviously what I can do if I want to is push the next set, if like for example a next modular, I can just push back to the wall and then just step it out, so then we've got a bigger area in the middle as well. So we have got lots of options, because obviously it would be quite nice to say, for example, with another corner unit, have it going all the way around the corner, or have two corner units back to back like we had there, and then you've got the path going behind it and coming through. That is definitely in the way, so that's going to be really, really annoying. I didn't realize actually how much stuff was behind it. I've just moved the Razor Quest, I've just moved the M1 stuff, excuse me, I didn't even realize any of that was there. So they need to go over onto the Star Wars stuff. The Ghostbuster Firehouse still needs to come over, the diner needs to come over, the Joker Manor needs to come over, as does the Jazz Club and the Corner Garage. So there's still a fair way to go yet, but with this layout, don't forget, because we've got all this extra space, we can have the whole superhero section all the way to here if we wanted to. So we've got the whole L shape. With all of these up here, that saved a massive amount of space. Obviously ideas for what we're going to do with that. Those two are going to come off, and then it's going to be basically fair game with regards to what can go where. But I think this is going to be a really nice little project to put all of these together. I think I don't know if I prefer it forward on. I think it makes sense because we can just have some nice bits and pieces. Now again, I don't know whether to say, for example, just to get a bigger plate like there and then just put it all down with grass and stuff. Obviously the road is it's a theme park, but that's your path. That's how you're going to be getting around. I can put another unit just beside it in there, so I'm not 100% sure what could go there. Maybe the diner, because that might be eye-catching enough just there, so you've got a little bit of food. That will be perfect width, because obviously it will finish, and then the path behind it will be exactly the same. Or we could just keep going to the back wall, and then we got a path going behind the Daily Bugle, and it just keeps going. So that's the other option. We either custom mock something at the back, or we just utilize the space best we can, starting from the front, and then we've got a little bit of gap at the back. We've got a little bit of gap at the back. The only other thing is we have a secret road to nowhere all the way across the back that maybe links into somewhere up at the top. But again, we'll cross that bridge when it comes. This is just rough, but I want to try and give you some ideas because I know this is going to go live, and you guys and girls will probably say try this, try that, or whatever. So at least if I'm trying to say why I'm doing it, at least it'll give you an idea. So I need to get some of the bigger sets over. This stuff, look, these are all the bits that were smashed in the first sort of episode as such. This is one of the Ninjago bits that are broken, and there's a bag full of the Quinjet as well. So, right, this is the current state of play. The coaster has now moved. Looks all right there, actually. Won't stay there, but it does look quite smart there. And then as we come round, obviously that's not living there. That just needs to move over. I was thinking maybe of having the jazz club there, having the cinema behind it, and then what I've actually created is an alleyway, is an L shape that does go all the way behind the cinema to then carry on into that corner. So if I just throw the garage out of the way for now, this is the kind of thing. So what we'd be able to do is be able to put a plate there, create an L shape just on that bit. So obviously it'll all be custom to fit, like that one is, for example, and then we can just keep connecting all the roads up. So we will have more base plates down on the floor just here. So we can do things like that, for example, and then get that bit in on there. So that will all fit customized, and then we can have another bit going across. But it does leave this bit just here. So the cinema, obviously everybody knows what happens with the Batman. So it would allow me, like I said, just to put some back cars down at the back, and we can create a path that comes off the jazz club. And then we've got that little zone that we can do whatever we want with. And then we could just do another run of a few modulars. Then we can bring it back inside on, so you can see the fascia that way. So we can just go a little bit wider and then come up. And then maybe just mirror it on the other side, because we've got quite a lot of space on here now. But what I need to do is obviously I need to move all of this first to put it onto another table over there, to then bring the Joker Manor over, and to bring all of the other bits and pieces. There's still a huge amount of work, and it is starting to get quite late. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap the video up here, and this will have to be done over 2 parts. So at least, hopefully, this would have been uploaded. If not, you know, whatever. So hopefully this would have been uploaded. Start to wrap it up, and then they will just have to do this in 2 parts, because it's just taken so long, as you can fully well imagine. I mean, look at all the brick dust that's on the top of that. It's just going to take forever and ever and ever. But at least it gives you a rough idea of what we're going to do with all those bits and pieces at the top. I'm going to think about this idea, and then before I get too far committed, I can obviously change it before then. Thinking maybe that coaster does go on this table, so you can get a nice photo of everything up there, because obviously it's nice and gappy so you can see everything. Or potentially it could go on the corner here, or it doesn't go there at all. It goes somewhere else. Don't forget we've got this table behind. I think that'd be potentially, actually, it might be a better place for that to go here, and then maybe the loop coaster goes here, because it's not as chunky as this, and you can actually see through it a little bit more. So maybe we'll leave this for the loop coaster for as and when that turns up and arrives. At least we've got that in front of it, and then if we actually end up putting the loop coaster with all the Ninjago stuff, then we can just carry on and crack on from there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop, sleep, carry on whenever, tidy everything up first, and then carry on with the next part of this, so it won't take as long, and at least that way I can film me moving the bits and pieces for you. Because I just can't do that at the moment, because I'm having to stop all the time and move 4 things for 1 thing, so it's just not really worth it. With regards to, like I said, what's to come, Diner, Joker Manor, Ghostbuster Firehouse. See, obviously the Ghostbuster Firehouse, which is a base plate and a half, that might look nice as the next unit coming in, because that is, yeah, so we could potentially come to there, I think, because that's 2 base plates to there, so it will come up to the front, and then we can sort of just make weird and wonderful patterns all the way through. But I think maybe if the Avengers Tower is that tall and it went about here, and we just created this thing on the inside, that might look quite smart. And then don't forget, there is the MCU Spider-Man set that I want to get, which I can use as like a live battle, but we can go over to the left as well. That's not a very tall set, so that potentially could go in the corner, depending on how far we come over. So I'm going to try and use this line as a cut-off point, and then potentially this could just be something completely different. But until then, we'll worry about it. So guys, if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Feedback below what you would change, what you would put where, or modular wise, what would you pair up for future displays. You've got to think of what we can do with all the different minifigures that there are about. Obviously, we can do a nice robbery bank scene with all the roads and everything, because like I said, I'll create that as an L shape, so that could be there. And then we can have potentially something else linked into here. So we could then have another 32 by 32 base plate just in there. And then we can have another modular there, for example, just to tuck it all in. Then the jazz club can go behind it, so that would look quite smart, because that would fit, because we can just have a single road in there. Because don't forget, the roads are the walkways, you don't necessarily have to fit the cars can just stay there, so it doesn't matter, and the cars will fit obviously on a single track road. So get your ideas in, I'll think about it a little bit more, and then hopefully the next version of this, it'll be a lot more improved and it'll be a good little bit of fun. So guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and until the next one. Ta-da.